to Let's Chat, the Tennessee Valley's premier show focusing on lifestyle and entertainment with Jess Raby and Chip Chapman, bringing you smart shopping tips, community events, and the newest trends. Now, let's chat.
A few days ago, we got to spend a few moments having a little chat with Marianne Eaves. Marianne Eaves is the master blender behind Sweetens Cove Bourbon. We wanted to pick this conversation back up. Marianne Eaves, good morning.
Good morning, Chip. How are you?
I am doing very well. I was looking over some of the notes that our production staff put together for this, and wow, there's just some incredible information here. And they've tied it into a few song lyrics like, when the sun comes up on the sleepy little town down around Sweetens Cove, take off on a Doobie Brothers song. So just to let you know, we'll be working some of these in as we continue the course of our little talk. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. You are the master blender for Sweetens Cove, and most folks around here know Sweetens Cove as one of the preeminent golf courses in the country. And now you have come up with a preeminent bourbon to go along with that golf course. How did you come to be a master blender?
Well, my title is comes through experience being in the industry. So I have a chemical engineering degree from University of Louisville. Don't hold that against me. Mm-hmm. And I rose up through the ranks, actually working for Brown-Forman, the company that makes Jack Daniels and many other bourbons, and eventually striking out on my own, starting a distillery from scratch, and then again reinventing myself and getting into consulting. So I have this skill set that I could be a master blender as well as a master distiller. One
of the things that distinguishes Sweetens Cove, the bourbon, from a lot of others is you have, from what I've been able to understand, you were working with a limited quantity of bourbon to begin with, and you have to select, mix, match, taste, and make sure that this is the ultimate product that you were looking for. When you were doing all of that, what was in your mind's eye? What were you envisioning in the glass?
Something that was really balanced, and I knew that with a 13-year-old product, it was going to be heavily skewed toward the oak flavors, mm-hmm. A lot of sweetness, a lot of that wood character, but this particular lot of 13-year-old bourbon had a lot of interesting complex notes as well. So I was able to make something that was very balanced with fruit and spice and floral notes, even with the sweetness and the oak. So at the beginning, I didn't really have a flavor profile specifically in mind.
Right.
I just wanted it to be complex and balanced.
How did you know when you came upon that perfect blend from the different barrels? What set it apart in your head that, wow, this is it?
It's an interesting process. So what I do is I go through and I taste everything first, and then I'll start putting pairs of barrels together, taste what their profiles meld into, because adding one to one doesn't always equal two. Sure. You sometimes get an oddball and a weird marriage that doesn't show up quite like you expected. So it's a long process to figure out how each one of these barrels go together. And then, it's really just through the actual tasting process. I'll taste it and at a point, like, this is wonderful. I've got these, 60 other barrels to use. I might try and add one more. And I add that extra one based on all of the notes that I've written, and it either, it's good, I'm going to leave it at, I'm going to take it to 19 barrels, or I'm going to leave it at 18. So it was just kind of actually adding them together and tasting it.
Is it fair to say that what you do and what you have done throughout this whole process, it's a combination of art and a combination of science together?
Absolutely. Yes, I would definitely say everything about spirits is a combination of understanding the science, the technical workings of operating mm-hmm. distillery equipment, and even in this very specific science of blending, but also it's about flavor, it's about enjoyment.
What would you pair this Sweetens Cove Tennessee Bourbon with as far as food is concerned?
I think there are lots of things that you could pair Sweetens Cove with. There are 5 different batches, so it depends on which bottle you pick up, what flavors you're going to get more than others. So I would definitely suggest tasting it first, and then that might inspire you. Maybe it's a lighter profile, and you want to put it into some kind of like a bourbon sorghum vinaigrette for a beautiful fresh salad, or it might go straight to dessert.
Historically, bourbon in its true form has been more of a drink for males, but over the past several decades, we have seen all of that changing. Very quickly, and if I had to nail you down for a 30-second answer, why would this Sweetens Cove bourbon appeal more to females?
I think it's got a balance of flavor that wouldn't be off-putting to, hopefully many people will enjoy it. It's interesting. A lot of people think that women prefer this softer, sweeter palate, but the organization Bourbon Women has done plenty of blind tastings, and women often will prefer the spicier profile of the sample set, the higher proof, the spicier, more robust sample. So I think women just appreciate, they'll appreciate that it's cask strength, and they'll like the beautiful, smooth, balanced experience, mouthfeel, and profile.
Thank you for sharing your time. You are welcome here at any time, and we thank you for sharing your gift of what you do, and obviously you've got a passion for it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Find out more about Sweetens Cove, the golf course, by checking out SweetensCoveGolfClub.com. Find out more about this Sweetens Cove Tennessee Bourbon at SweetensCoveSpirits.com. And to find out more about Marianne Eaves, check out her website, MarianneEaves.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back.